exactly what the problem was, but seems to be fixed for now, which is all good. In the break there, I didn't actually have time to do this, which is what I wanted to do, and rearrange that good old scoreboard here. And there we go, all good. So scoreboard rearranged then. And we can see Lee Sin starting off by his Wolves. No invade, obviously, with Corki having that disconnect. Mouse Sports, they did go into this top side of the jungle, came away afterwards, though, and nothing really from the start of that one. We can see Dedrian here is starting off on the red buff side, actually took the Wraiths before that one, and is being helped out here by Phylox to finish off that buff, and then they're going to be headed down in towards their respective lanes. So, Jason, let's break it down here. Bottom lane, Sona Corki versus Ezreal and Leona. What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, we have that sustain lane versus aggressive lane. So if you fall behind with that Ezreal and Leona combo, you're going to be behind for the rest of the game until you at least catch up with some kills or something. But if you're aggressive and you land the kills, you're going to snowball that lane very hard. A sustain lane is more or less just trying to farm. There won't be very many kills unless you do see the jungler come down. But it depends on how Mouz plays it. If they aren't aggressive, if they don't capitalize on the early game with that Leona, amount of CC he has, then they're not going to do too well later on. But Jack's doing some good damage to Arthana in that top lane.
Yeah, and as RNA rightly pointed out in here, this Jax is going to be a bit of trouble for Shen. They need to get involved and get some good damage down and to get some ganks going on. You can see in the bottom lane there, bit of damage being exchanged back and forth, which you're always going to expect out of this Corki and Sona lane. Lee Sin actually up on the top side here, just doing his raid, so we may see him getting involved in this middle lane as well. Obviously, Mouma, let's have a look at him here. Got 1 point in his, in all 3 skills up until now, so we'll see in a little while where he's exactly going to be building into. As we can see, both junglers actually coming into this middle lane. Dedrian does go around, will actually end up just going back over towards that other side. Lee Sin deciding that there's probably nothing for him to be taking in this middle lane as well. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, you can see You and Me on Corki has taken a fair amount of damage from that one. As I just line up Sona, obviously she's not the AD carry. And in the top lane, again, we can see Prothana is taking quite the amount of damage there as Jack's going to go low. The low HP ping, which always scares me when I hear that, and I don't see what's happening. Luckily for us this time, it was just Jax going low from that tower hit there in the top lane. So a fairly quiet start to things, Jason.
Well, look at the CS in the top lane. It was 9-20, as we did see Reaper had to go back. Arthana farming pretty well under tower, as you do see right here.
Oh, down in the bottom lane, no, Corki maybe in a bit of trouble here. He's actually going to get exhausted. JWoww going to go in there. The Ignite is burning onto You and Me. Is he going to survive it? He's got that pot running. Ignite will time out, and that will not quite be first blood, but Mouse Sports doing what they need here and forcing this Corki out of lane.
And Joe, actually, I wanted to talk about mid lane. What do you think about that kind of combo? You have Cho'Gath versus Diana. You have that really hard assassin who around level 7 should start going for some kills. And then you have a Cho'Gath who has, pretty good damage just from that feast, that true damage alone. And then you have Zinzao coming in for the gank. If you get that nice knock up with the 3-talon strike, follow that up with a rupture, that could be a dead Diana.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Mightily has to be really careful of in this middle is going all in on towards Mouma, which, Moma's going to try and bait that out to get Xin Zhao in behind Diana to try and get things working in this middle lane. So basically, Mouma has to do all the baiting in that lane, I think, to get Diana out there. From Mightily's side, he just needs to be careful that he doesn't fall into that trap, as we are going to see here. Mouma maybe in a little bit of trouble, will use the flash to get away. Xin Zhao is there, but that's not going to be a kill coming in. Meanwhile, at top, I can see their icons almost constantly floating over the top of each other on the minimap. And that's, again, just back and forth action between Reaper and Prothana. Actually, Prothana, since Jax did go back, has managed to go ahead in the CS.
Yeah, he got kind of lucky with a couple of those turret hits there. He got Jax, I believe, 3 times and forcing him back. Lee Sin coming in for a gank, though. He is backing out. Isn't spotted by a ward yet, though. As Arthana just kind of moving in and outside that bush, and he is coming in for that gank very shortly.
Yeah, Lee Sin going to head into this one. Prothana still in that bush. Reaper actually going to check him out here. And we will see Lee Sin coming into the lane. He's got the vision, as we are going to see Leap Strike actually moved away from. Nicely done by Prothana there. He will stay safe in this top lane.
And the junglers trying to get around the map as much as possible. We saw, Daedra in the mid lane trying to go for a gank. Unfortunately, we saw that Oma didn't have the mana for it, which isn't really a downside to Cho'Gath, since you can farm the minions with your passive, get the extra health regen and mana back. But the bottom lane, it really hasn't been action intensive as we do see Leona going in.
Yeah, and just as you say that one, Leona landing the Zenith Blade.
Prove me wrong.
And we see Corki down to half HP just from that one little combo. So they've got to be a little bit careful about that one. The sustain obviously is with SK Telecom with that nice heal coming out from Sona, which is going to be helping them a lot to stay in this lane. Early items and CS is pretty much bang even on the CS and on the items as well. They've got pots each, the T1 boots plus a Doran's Blade in there as well. Top lane, we just saw the pings coming down actually from Reaper. He was just pinging the fact that Prothana did back away and get himself a warding position. But we may be seeing a play here for this next blue buff, or are they going to go straight in towards the top here? Mightily is coming in. And they're not going to spot him either because he put that ward down inside of the Tribush. This could very well be that first blood coming in. Prothana, as you said, doesn't have his flash available, and they are going to work in. Lee Sin Q actually misses the counter-strike, not going to go down. But there is Diana, ignites onto Prothana. He's not escaping this one, and it's Jax that picks up first blood. And if there's one thing you don't want to do is, you know, number one, let Jax farm. Number two, give Jax first blood.
Yeah, not to mention Diana as well on top of that, who's such a good assassin. Was roaming around a little bit right there. We do see a play actually happening on the blue buff here. They should be able to take this away quite easily. Great game awareness out of them, noticing we did see Horo on the top end, but
wow, he's going very low there, Dedrin. I'm not sure if he can escape this one. Actually, bottom lane coming up there. We did see the Ignite taking him very, very low. They weren't quite able to finish off the kill. Starlash just watching over the top there, and they may try and close in from them. We can see that Lee Sin is coming around that side. Moment actually is going to walk into two of them here. Lee Sin is ready and waiting. Diana in that top side brush as it does put the rupture down. Well, Diana not going to go for that one, not wanting to overextend, which actually interesting considering that the bottom lane had gone back into lane and they were visible from that one. But still no more kills coming out aside from that first blood in the top lane, and that leaves Jax now with a Phage Doran's Blade and also a good 20 CS lead almost.
Yeah, we do see actually the gold difference in the top lane, 1,800 currently for Prothana, and compared to Reaper, who's 2,500, so he's fallen behind. I mean, yes, he did die. In CS, he's a little bit behind as well, but once Jax gets that Trinity Force, Joe, as we always talk about, that core item for him, you can't stop him. With any top lane champion, Shen won't be able to do anything to him, and that's kind of a problem. Will Shen be able to split push late game? That's typically what he does and what he needs to do. I mean, he's level 6, he has that global presence. If you do want to see a dive on this bottom lane, which could very well be coming shortly, so do have Falix going to be very close to level 6 right now. JWoww already level 6, has some mana, but needs to save up just a little bit more. And Moma taking his own blue there. And by the way, that was a great rupture out of him at his red buff catching Horo. Didn't really expect that to come out, but it actually saved his life.
Yeah, and we can see in this top lane, it's such a difficult lane now for Prothana, if it wasn't already hard enough before. He's got Doran's shield in there, obviously bought that a little bit earlier on before he actually died. It wasn't enough to keep him alive from that 3-man gank though. T1 boots plus the null magic mantle, so probably headed straight in towards those Merc Treads and taking tenacity from them. So the interesting thing now is that Reaper doing what Jax does best, which is 2 hits on the minions, 3rd hit with a leap strike over on towards Shen, and he's just going to keep doing that until he gets lower and lower and lower, and at some point he'll go in for the finisher as well.
Yeah, Thana's already down to half-life just from those combos like you're just saying. The mana though running decently low on Reaper, so he only has so much ability to actually harass until he can actually get in melee range of Arthana. But I mean, Arthana's still farming under tower. He's still getting his health back from those Qs, from those Vorpal Blades, so in the end, he's able to regen on top of that with that Doran shield. It's going to help him out, but the thing is, he's going to need some help from his jungler. They need to see Xin Zhao come in. However, he's at that bottom lane, and he actually will be counter-ganked here as Horo in perfect position to turn this around if they do go.
Yeah, they're getting ready to go in. One thing that you've got to keep in mind, though, is that Shen. He is level 6, and he will be involved in that fight if something ends up going down. Lee Sin has now backed away. We do have Xin Zhao still in this bush, though, where you can see SK Telecom playing very pensively, and if they come out here, this Xin Zhao is surely going to be able to catch one of them down. Here we go, Zenith Blade will actually go out there, doesn't quite get the stun down to Corki, but there is a turnaround. Crescendo comes in, Shen ulti going to come down, and they are diving here on towards Corki, and there is the ultimate coming out of Ezreal, and that will level the kills up at 1 apiece.
Great job by Mousesports there. However, Reaper in the top lane, as you hear it, Joe, your most satisfying sound in all League of Legends.
It's the best sound in the world, actually, if you're a Jax player or that Jax is on your team.
I'm surprised your ringtone or like text message sound isn't that yet. But yeah, I mean, he's punishing Shen. He did ulti down that bot lane. Now he's pushing his turret as much as possible. Going to done a lot of CS, a lot of experience towards Shen, as we do have Starlast getting dove on.
Yeah. JWoww actually just diving straight underneath the turret. Didn't expect him to do that at this stage. I mean, he was tanking all the damage from that turret, but he's come up with it nicely, and that will actually put Ezreal 2-0 now in the lead and kills. Prathana here may get caught out. Lee Sin is actually coming around the side. There is the Ignite Down flash going to be used. Q dodged by Prathana, but I'm not sure that it's going to be enough to get him away from this. No, it won't. Reaper will pick up that one. That is now a 2-for-0 Jax. So we've got 4 kills. Both of them from either side coming onto the one player. So 2 for Jax, 2 for Ezreal. Who's going to benefit the team more in the long run?
Reaper on Jax.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have such a heavy assassin team. If he gets that GA right after that Trinity Force, it's going to create so many problems for Mouz Sports. And just look at him. I mean, he's just non-stop pushing his top lane right now. 100 CS going to be back in with about 1,600 gold. So he should be able to get that Sheen if he does want to go for that item as his next pick, which honestly he should be. And Horo, I mean, he's doing a good amount of counter jungle. He will be caught here though.
Yeah, Horo could be in trouble from Moma coming in. There is the Ignite actually going down, and a flash away. Ooh. Dashes off as well with a W, safe onto his minions. And that's the problem with Lee Sin. He is a very slippy character. He's so hard to pin down.
I can hear Demon right now in the analysis room saying, oh, I hate that Lee Sin. Yeah, that's like his least favorite champion, as you heard quite earlier. But JWoww on the bot lane, going to be going up against this Corki and Sona. We do have Phylux finally coming back down there. But I don't really think, you know, SK Telecom can dive this with how much CC that Luna puts out, with how much damage JWoww puts out.
Yeah, that's the problem. When they turn it around, it could be very dangerous in this bottom side. However, we do now have Dedrian on his way around as well with that Xin Shout. And Corki needs to be a little bit worried about this one, but Jax is coming down as well. Where's the damage going to come down? On towards Phylox. Corki forced to Valkyrie away, and Jax actually going fairly low from this. Will leap strike off towards his teammate, and Mouz Sports decide it's probably not worth chasing on after that one. But if you look at the health, that fight actually was in Mouz Sports' favor.
And we are seeing Reaper do, like, we talked about this the other day, Joe, how if you take your turret, like even in solo queue, you take that turret down, what do you do after that? Most people just try to push lane as much as possible, but we see Reaper, he's visiting the bot lane, he's trying to help his AD carry out, which was currently, still is currently behind in CS and in overall gold, as Ezreal has those 2 kills, and might eventually make it towards this mid lane, but he still is sticking around here. You see him in that tri-bush, trying to go for a kill here, as he will pop that counter-strike, and the crescendo coming out.
Oh, the ultimate will actually come down as well from Sona. Can they finish off? Dedrian only needing 1 more rocket from Corki there to finish him off. But again, SK Telecom, they're happy with forcing them back. But look at this. Diana is coming around. Phylox actually already behind his turret. What is Diana going to go for? Actually goes in towards Ezreal, and this could be a good amount of kills coming down. Shen ultimate did come in, but it was too late, and that is 2 kills, 3 kills, double kill for Diana, and that will put them in a massive advantage position. That's what we're talking about. This trade in this bottom lane, it went back and forth as Diana actually going to walk in. Moma's silence was on the wrong direction, actually, and ended up missing that one. The Rupture not landing either. Diana gonna be safe. But that's what I was talking about. They stuck around in this bottom lane. Mouz Sports just went that 1 step too far. Crescendo came in, Counter-Strike was down, and just that, those 2 stuns alone, that bit of CS there is enough to secure them the kills. And then, you know, you have the assassin there to clean up.
It seemed like a little bit of a misplay out of Phylox as he ran right up to Diana, hit him with the Q just to stun him, but he got hit with the Q out of Diana, and because of that, she was able to get in really quickly, pull in Ezreal, and if you look at the other way, Ezreal could have dodged it with Arcade Shift. He has flash up, could have dodged it that way, and it probably would have been a completely different fight if that didn't happen, but still, they're getting punished now. I mean, Ezreal finally did die, 2-1. Reaper now 3-0-1, has 2/3 of his Triforce done, building into those Merc Treads as he has another 500 gold on him. And Diana, 1,400 gold in the mid lane right now, has Abyssal done. And we're wondering if we're going to see the Haunting Guys or maybe a little bit of tankiness.
Oh, I was down at the bottom, actually. Corki getting very low from this one. Ezreal ultimate coming in there as well. And Moma, you know, we talked about sticking around, and Moma was there for quite a while on that one. They may have done enough to get themselves a turret here, Mouz Sports, if they wanted to actually go for it. Yet Moma will cancel his recall, and they aren't going to get themselves in there. This turret not going to last very long with those 3 hammering away on it, and that will bring us back to 1-1 in turrets. But looking at the gold, it's a 1,600 gold lead currently for SK Telecom. The CS is actually pretty even across the board, as we do see Dedrian starting off Dragon all on his own. He's going to have Shen coming in for backup. The bottom lane plus Moma will be there. So 5-man Mouz Sports team currently hanging around by this Dragon, which is down to half HP. We'll see if Horo can actually get in there. He's got the Q on Prathana, so he can get over if he wants to. Smite will get him, and Horo is going to die. Actually came in there trying to steal it, but we talked about this before. Losing the Dragon, is it really worth losing your death just from that? Not sure.
No, I mean, we talked last night. I remember talking with RNA and Demon. I mean, trading a mid tower for a dragon. We obviously didn't see it happen this time, but completely in favor of taking that tower. But Horo, I mean, that's the CC we were talking about earlier. The late game composition of Mouse Sports. He got in, didn't move anywhere after that. But Arthon going to get caught here. Should be able to escape though. And with the help of JY, they might even be able to secure a kill.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're going to chase it, though. They were, I think, wondering a little bit more about where the rest of the team were. Reaper here is actually going to get caught out. We do have Sincham now coming in. He's below half HP, got that red buff on. And actually, they decide not to go in there. And that was the ward that he placed. Coming into that one will actually end up saving his life. He stays safe. But the kill's now 5-4. And still a really close game, which Mouse Sports, you know, they're hanging on, considering that they the comp that SK Telecom have gone for in this one is all about getting in there, getting those kills on mass. They're doing a really good job.
They definitely need to kill Reaper right now, get that little bit of gold that he gives you, and not to mention just stop him from farming. Sitting at 1100 gold again, getting ever so closer to that Triforce, and when that happens, I mean, SK Telecom should start grouping and start pushing because they have a Diana who's pretty fed as well, 2-0-2. Corki 0-2, but he's still keeping up in CS and actually ahead of Ezreal at the moment. Has that phase done, has an about 1,000 gold on him as well. But I mean, Mousesports taking that bottom turret, it's kind of a little bit of a ballsy move because if you do that, then you're forced into pushing mid lane and pushing these towers down as a team. And the thing is that SK Telecom has the advantage in that situation right now.
You can see Phylox just there helping JWoww secure all that CS there in the bottom.
I'm helping.
I am helping. And they're stood right on top of a ward here. Lee Sin is actually coming down through that bottom lane, so we'll see if he decides to get in on the action. They knew that Sona was there as well from their ward in that tri-bush. And now I have to point out, Jax, he's farming. He's just farming this top lane again, which is, if he's not already that too far ahead, in my opinion, at 3-0-1. Good 20 CS lead as well. The last thing that they need to do is allow Reaper to keep going here, as actually Prathana does come in. Sunfire Cape now finished on him, so that's going to help out a bit, but I still think Reaper will, well, destroy him 1 versus 1. There's no question about that.
We're going to need to see like a Randuin's or a Frozen Heart. Obviously, Frozen Heart not the right choice unless Cho'Gath picks it up. And Reaper getting caught here. Gonna land that Counter-Strike onto Daedrian, though.
He's gonna 2v1 him. This is how ridiculous Jax is. He goes in there, actually not quite getting the kill. Prathana's ultimate gonna be forced to be used. Reaper just hammering away at him as he's teleporting out of that one. So still, you know, no kills coming in, but there you see the strength of Jax. He'd quite happily take this 2v1 fight. As Phylox coming around there as well to try and force them away from this blue buff. Horo is gonna go away, and Reaper getting pinged here, but they're just scared of him right now.
Yeah, I mean, they expected that fight to go in a completely different way, but with just how far ahead he is, like you're saying, he completely 1v2 them easily right now. But the bot turret going down, so SK Telecom picking up the second turret, leaving the scoreline at 2-1 in favor of them for that. And the gold lead, I mean, 18 minutes in, 4-5, it's still not that huge.
Yeah, it's not huge at all. I mean, it's less than 2,000 currently, so less than 10% gold. Probably not that much of a difference to really be talking about, but the problem is, yeah, that's the problem. The kills with Diana and with Jax, yeah, it'd be great if Corki had managed to get himself in on the action, but we see here Reaper again going in onto Prathana, who's actually got almost twice the health of him right now, but he knows that he just can't fight against these Jax at all.
Even has Daedrian waiting in the bush right there to try to bait him in, but he's playing smart, backing out instead. And his gold, he's getting ever so close. He's sitting at 1,000 again. I'm just waiting for him to get that Triforce, because when that happens, this game can completely, well, easily turn around. And Joey mentioned the kill spread. Obviously, Corki would like a kill or two, but you know, having their assassin kind of composition with this Jax, with this Diana and this Lee Sin, it definitely doesn't suck trying to get those actually fed so they can get tanky enough to survive the damage and the CC that Mousesports can put out. But Blue being started here, it looks like it will be contested out of SK Telecom. I'm not sure if they can actually defend it.
Prathana's position was actually given away there. The Rupture is going to miss. Will SK Telecom turn this one around? The blue buff is going to get reset.
It's a crucial fight.
All 5 from Mouse Sports are there. This is going to be a big one as Diana comes in. Present Strike not actually landing. There goes the Rupture coming in. Ezreal ultimate will actually miss everyone, but they're going to go in on towards Reaper. There is the ultimate out of Sona. It might hold them down long enough. Reaper will die. Wow. They're in onto JWoww. Momo is going to use his knob. And actually, You and Me is now in a lot of trouble as well. He's going to flash over the wall. Here comes Prathana over the top as well. And that was a 2-for-0. Jax and Diana, we were talking about those two. The 2 with the kills. 3 for Jax, 2 for Diana. They both died in that fight. That was a massive win for Mouse. And that's going to bring the gold right back level as well.
That was a beautiful fight at Mouse Sports. They knew.
Oh. There's Lee Sin for you. Ezreal inside of his own jungle. Lee Sin comes around. That's just how fast he is. I couldn't even get there quick enough myself to look at it. And Mousesport's now pushing up this top tower, and I'm not sure that SK Telecom will be able to really stop this happening unless Mouse really just back away from it, which I don't see. They've got a good wave of minions in there as well. And this will actually end up putting them into the lead in the gold as well. Or probably not quite.
That was such a beautiful fight out of Mousesports right there. They knew Reaper was down to half-life or less, and with that they engaged on it. We saw a nice crescendo come out of Star last, but it wasn't enough. All really locked down, I believe, was that Cho'Gath and was Phylox, and we saw Miley overextend, trying to go for Ezreal, and they just blew him up before he could do anything. We saw Cho'Gath doing that feast on top of him, and it just obliterated him, and that's the problem. If you overextend as an assassin, not in a group, with Jax coming in, with Lee Sin coming in, you're gonna die, because Ezreal, 3-2-3, he has the ability to take on Miley at the moment.
Yeah, and the fact that he survived that fight, okay, afterwards it didn't quite work out in his favor just because Lee Sin happened. And
that's why the pickup for the Bloodthirster on Ezreal is so crucial for him, because he knows he's going to be taking a lot of damage. And getting that before that 24 is going to help him heal a little bit more. They don't need to poke so much because that's not the kind of composition SK Telecom has. They want to get in your face, get on top of you right away. And you don't really have a chance to poke them here. But second Dragon going to be going over to Mousesports now, and that is keeping them in the game quite easily, as they will take the gold lead. So be it by 500, but a lead is a lead.
Yeah, a lead that they're definitely going to be happy with at this stage of things as well. Those kills after that last fight kind of been spread across the board. Always a bit of a tricky situation for Mouse earlier on when all your kills are on your AD carry, making him the sore thumb, sticking out like a sore thumb in those fights of where you go for the target. As we are going to see the Rupture landing down to Diana.
Top lane.
Yeah, going 1 versus 1 against Dedrin here. Actually, Shen's going to come in. Leona's there as well. Reaper not going to escape from this one. We've got Ezreal in there as well, and there comes a kill for Xin Zhao, but they are pushing this middle lane. Moma doing his best to hold them back. There goes the Ezreal ultimate across. There's the nom onto you and me as well. Rupture not quite connecting for him. But still, Mouse, they've killed Jax again. That's a bonus for them. And they go ahead 30,800 to 29,800. So 1,000 gold lead now. They've got the kill lead. They're leveling turrets. They may even take this middle turret with that brute force of 5 men just moving in onto it. And it's nothing that SK Telecom can really stop.
Yeah, that was so many ultimates used out of Mousesports, but they knew if we can kill Reaper, then the enemy team can't really defend against us, as we do hear him in the background right now. He's doing a lot of calls, trying to get this tower, and they do go in.
Yeah, fight going to kick off here. We saw the crescendo coming out, but look at Mouse. They're losing health all over the place here. Prathana going fairly low. Moma actually trying to stop them here as Lee Sin going to go flying in there. Big bomb out of Corki. Can he finish off? No, they're not quite able to get in for that damage, but Lee Sin is chasing down still. Well, Mouse should be able to walk away from this one with their lives intact. However, turret intact, I'm not sure that they will get away with. Only needs a couple more hits here, and that will go down. Jack's just tanking it up, and there is the middle turret taken. But again, it's 1 for 1 those middle turrets, so Mousesports are probably still happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, they got a kill or two, right? Or they got a kill on Reaper. They got a turret off of it. They didn't get the second one, but they didn't lose anyone, which is the key thing. If they start losing members here, easily SK Telecom can turn this around. And items, Joe, I mean, we've seen a lot of core items being built. Jax finally has his Triforce. We see Corki with his as well. The Abyssal's been done for a while on Diana, but has that new Stealar Droid on top of it. We see Horo on Lee Sin with his Wriggles, Heart of Gold, so he has the ability to take objectives a lot easier than anything Mousesports has, though. If it's a Baron or if it's a Dragon, Moma, easily with that feast, going to be doing that 1,000 true damage. It's going to be really hard to take it away from him. But Wit's End and the Sunfire Cape dump for Shen, we need to see some sort of attack speed reduction, like a Randuin's or Frozen Heart, like I was saying earlier, to really stop this Jax, stop this Lee Sin, and even Diana, who does decent damage with auto attacks with their passive, which scales with APs. So kind of you see that item come out. We see an Aegis done, clearly for Xin Zhao. Phylox, actually has an Oracle, which I believe is the first one of the game, if I'm not mistaken, and is clearing out the Baron. So it looks like Mousesports kind of wants to force SK to group up and defend against this Baron, because if they lose it, this game could be over.
Yeah, Lee Sin going in now, and actually Diana in a lot of trouble. Phylox gonna go down. It's Corki that gets the kill, and they're not finished now. Moving in on towards Moma. Leap Strike was used. The Q from Lee Sin will get him in there as well. Dedrin gonna try and force them away, and that was enough. Just his presence there with that knock-up. He used his ultimate earlier on, actually, while they were in the jungle. Meanwhile, though, Shen is being, Shen, split pushing this bottom lane. Saw him not really getting that much damage down onto it, but he's forced that minion wave up, which is going to make SK Telecom come back and deal with that one. And it is Reaper who's going to be taking more and more CS. He's a good 42 CS, actually, in the lead over Shen right now, which is not to be sniffed at. That's a lot.
Yeah, and he's actually building towards that GA now. We do have the zone is completed for Diana. And that GA going to be very crucial for Reaper because if they dive in so far, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Miley pick one up as well, just so because of how far he's overextended. We've seen it happen already. He died the first time. The second time, he almost dropped immediately. But with that zone, he's going to help out with that extra armor. Though, I mean, how can you stop a Jax with the Trinity Force? I mean, yeah, he's been caught a couple of times, which is why he's died and actually forced the team to lose a couple of turrets. But if they start grouping up and start, initiating the fights they want to, I don't really see Mouz winning the fight at the moment unless we see the game last about, another 5 to 10 minutes and see a couple more core items finished.
Well, Mouz have just pushed this middle lane out. As you said earlier on, there was an Oracle, which was lost by Phylux as he got caught. Again, it's like, he's got an Oracle. He's going to be the easy target for that next fight, especially if we can catch him out. mousesports just getting the wards in onto that top side of the jungle, so trying to keep vision high here across the entire map. Are they going to be able to steal away this blue buff? Prathana already started it off.
Sorry, Reaper is actually overstaying a little bit there. We do have Horo land that Q on the MoMA, but it won't be enough as they will take it away. And we do see Starless pick up an Oracle for himself. They know that they need to clear out all these wards in the jungle because they're being forced to stay away from it. They're not allowed to get their own jungle and keep their CS high, keep their money income coming. But we do have, looks like a 5-man push on this bottom lane coming. And I'm not sure if they can really get this turret out from under them.
Well, let's see. Mouz have got a decent wave coming in there with them.
This is a really crucial point here. If Mouz loses this fight, they're most likely going to lose the game.
There's a rupture actually missing, and SK Telecom might take that as a sign to push out. Actually, they decide not to, but now Corki's joined the fight, and we are going to see Counter-Strike gets over across 4 of them. There's the Ezreal ultimate to try and force them back, but how's this going to go? Good crescendo. Leona ultimate used as well. We see Shen going, Xin Zhao going very low, will be finished off here by Jax, and they're right in the middle of them. Corki doing great amounts of damage. Flash away from JWoww. He's going to turn around, gets the kill onto Reaper, and now mousesports, they're still losing men, and now Diana comes in. That's the cleanup crew for SK Telecom. Phylux is going to die, and that is an ace coming out for SK Telecom.
That fight, Mouz lost any sort of advantage they had. There was such a good fight out of SK Telecom. Reaper, he sacrificed himself, but he got the nice counter-strike to set up the entire fight. Nice crescendo coming out of Starless. Now they're going to push this bottom lane. They should be able to get this tower quite easily. Might even be able to take the inhibitor turret because they still have, another 10 seconds on MoMA, another 17 on JWoww, which is all their damage at, right now. Since they're so tanky, they're lacking heavily on damage. They don't have an insane amount of AP since Shogat is limited by cooldowns, but he does have that death cap done. Now still Xanthenes and Holy Grail. Looks like they are going to back out and go for their first dragon of the game for SK Telecom.
Yeah, Horo, the one that's doing that, as you said earlier, and got the wriggle, so should make easy work of that one. Also finish the Aegis. Diana with that Zhonya's Hourglass is now finished, as we saw in that last fight being popped. In terms of the AD carries, Ezreal actually got 3 parts of that Trinity Force, just needs to go home and finish it the next time around, and actually may just do that after this next wave does come down, and then he's going to be that whole lot stronger there. But you saw, 5 for 1 was that last fight, which just made it very, very bad news for mousesports. And not to mention now, we have a Guardian Angel.
Yeah, he picked it up right after that fight. I mean, he sacrificed himself. Now he's able to do it and still get back up and survive it. But, I mean, mousesports, they completely lost their advantage, like I was saying before, and now they're going to have to turtle so hard to defend against this team. They're just getting so strong. Corki, Last Whisper now. There isn't a lot of armor on the other team, but Shen is trying to stick in his face, though. It's Cho'Gath who's the one that's really all up in his face, trying to keep him out of the fight. But still, with that Last Whisper, going to make him very deadly. Has a red pot as well, and we do see Starless working towards his Aegis on top of that.
Baron obviously not being attempted just yet.
Where's the Shuralias, Joe? I mean, we really need to see one out of mousesports because they need to be able to disengage. We saw right there, if they had one, Reaper wouldn't have been able to jump in, and they wouldn't have been able to win that fight.
Yeah, and the thing that they're relying on there as well is that Xin Zhao ultimate quite a lot to disperse them in the middle of that fight and then be picking on the targets that they want. But we can see actually Mouz headed up towards Baron. They're going to clear out that first ward that's in there.
Reaper spotted at the bottom.
Yeah, they saw him in there. However, they're not going to be starting off Baron just yet. They're actually going to be setting up a bit of a trap here for SK Telecom, who are doing the wise thing, going in from that backside. Phosphorus Bomb was just used by Corki there to give them as much vision as they can. Obviously, Sona does have an Oracle as well, so they'll clear out that ward that was put down earlier on by Phylux, and they come back into that middle lane. For SK Telecom, do they really need a Baron now? Obviously, it would be really nice for them, but I think they don't want to risk going in there in case mousesports come in. And let's face it, with a Cho'Gath on the team, that's a nice little champion to have in there for stealing Baron.
Yeah, there's no point in blow the advantage they have right now. They know they can win these fights head on. They're way strong with all their sasses. The GA finish, like we were talking about earlier, the Zonia's on Mightily, which saved his life completely right there. We saw the Feast go down on him, but because the Zonia's popped right after, they weren't able to follow up. We do see Australia's finally done, though, coming out of Daejin, which is going to be so needed out of their side. We do have, actually, SK Telecom looks like they are trying to clear wards on Baron and really force Mouz to make a wrong move and really try to check it themselves and put a ward down and get caught and most likely lose the fight.
There's the blue buff coming up as well. Mouma going to get his hands on that
Baron.
Baron is going to be kicked off. So let's see what Mousesports do about this one. As SK Telecom actually backing away from it. Mousesports see that they've stopped doing Baron and move away. There's a Q from Lee Sin, not quite connecting. But 4 of them are there. Are they going to go for this one? Reaper, who's been so very, very aggressive so far in this game, actually popped his ultimate there to get in on things, and Ghost, but wasn't able to get in. But Baron, nonetheless, is going to be started off once again. We can see already down to below half HP, 3,000 HP remaining. Mousesports going to come in here, but it is taken, and there's a great crescendo. This is bad news for Mousesports. Ultimate coming out of Xin Zhao, but it's not really enough. There's the first kill actually comes in for Mouma. Reaper going fairly low as well, but he's got that Guardian Angel on. Corki going to force them away from the other side, and now Reaper is back in on the action. There's no way that Dedrian's escaping that one. Will Leona and Leona and Cho'Gath get away from that one? Yes, they will, but that's a Baron. That is 3 kills to 1. And SK Telecom will say, thank you very much. That's another fight for us.
Yeah, that was such amazing crescendo coming out of Starlast right there. Caught, I think it was 3 or 4 members of Mousesports, and because of that, easily won that fight. Take out 3 members, just like I said. Now going to push this mid lane, get this turret, and there's nothing Mousesports can do about this inhibitor turret. I mean, Cho'Gath definitely going to have a lot of CC, but not a lot of damage between them when that Feast will be down eventually. And with the damage they have, they can easily take it. And then, Joe, you're going to hear your favorite sound in the game again.
There he is. Good old Jax hammering away. Inhibitor turret goes down.
Look how much gold that we currently see SK Telecom sitting on, though.
Yeah,
that's a lot of gold.
It's going to be a nice shopping spree. Let's say that when they go back. Mousesports actually trying to stop them from recalling here. But in the end, they will be able to get home. And we can see those items being finished off.
Frozen Heart
as soon as they go back. Yeah,
that's key. That's really going to limit the damage that Reaper can put out. And not to mention Horo, Mightily, and you and me, like I was saying before. It's going to hurt them. Oh, trying to catch someone there. Horo. Q's going to land. We'll actually dodge that Rupture. Dragon not going to be up until a little bit longer, but still, what can Mousesports do right now? They can push out the lane, but that's just about it. They can't get caught in their own jungle again. They actually did lose the Oracle, luckily, for Phylox. He was able to keep that, so he's able to make it so they can at least farm their own jungle and see when the enemy will be coming in to push. But still, I mean, with that buying spree, Joe, we still see Jax, Reaper, 2,600 gold, hasn't bought yet. We see Horo, 2,000 gold, hasn't bought yet. Obviously, we'll have that GA very shortly if he decides to go for it. And then Mightily, 1,400 right now.
Yeah, and Reaper is just farming away. He's going to be approaching that 100 CS difference, I think, here by the time he's finished with his next couple of creep waves that are coming in. 260 to 183 is the creep score in Reaper's favor. And, well, let's have a look at his gold again. 3,000 gold now. So it's going to be a very strong Reaper coming into the next fight if he wasn't already strong enough with that Guardian Angel plus Trinity Force already finished. He's going to get himself home. Guardian Angel was finished off by Horo on Lee Sin. Let's see what Jax is going to be going for in the end. As he does go home.
Gunblade, most likely, I would assume. Gives the extra life steal, extra spell vamp. Oh, goes for Renans instead. Actually, that's a good item as well. It will slow everyone down from Mousesports, so they're able to catch up with them even easier. And because of that ghost, like you mentioned before during that last fight, they saw Xin Zhao out in the middle. He ghosted and even popped his ultimate just to catch them. And with his random, it's going to make it that much easier to do. He's so tanky right now. 240 armor, 3,000 health. There really is no answer to him right now. Mousesports doesn't have the damage they need to compete with this. They're not tanky enough yet, and they can't just deal with the damage, the front-up damage and the mobility that SK Telecom has.
Yep. See that Jax is actually pushing out this middle lane as well, so pressure going to be coming down. Obviously, we've got super minions now running into this base, and I think SK Telecom quite happy to keep them on this inner turret in the top lane. Whilst those super minions do start to stream their way in, actually Lee Sin is coming in from this backside. Where is this dive going to come from? Who are they going for? It's JWoww that will be the target. Shen ulti is actually going to come out here, but Phylox is going to be the first man to die. You and Mean he's been stuck to here by Shen. That's nice play, but JWoww is forced to flash away. Does actually die in the end, and well, they did take down Corki, so a 2-for-1 exchange. The bottom lane taken down. Here comes that turret, and well, Cho'Gath didn't really stand a chance on that that one with the pretty much entire team right on top of him. Inner turret will go down for SK Telecom. That will put them 7-3 in the lead in turrets. And you can see that Mouz have been forced to deal with these super minions, been forced to deal with the push lane on the bottom side as well. And that's going to mean this inhibitor go in SK Telecom's favor. And they may even look down to take a Nexus turret with this.
Yeah, I mean, you saw during that last fight, that was so great out of SK Telecom, but you saw the lack of damage that Mouse Sports has. They could not kill anyone. They ended up getting Corki there, but that was mostly just because of Cho'Gath and Shen just staying in his face, taunting him, and actually feasting him down, but they have no damage, and that is a major problem now. They're going to lose potentially their third inhibitor here as JWoww still 5 seconds left on his respawn, moment 15. And, I mean, they're going to back out with another huge chunk of gold. Jax, 1,000. We see Diana at 1,600, Corki at 1,900, and even Sona at 1,300, so there's nothing else can really do unless they really catch the enemy team off guard, maybe pick up a Baron and are able to push down an inhibitor too, because now 2 inhibitors currently gone. They're going to have super minions just flooding into their base the entire time.
There is Reaper. That's going to be taking away this blue buff. Very quickly. Yeah, didn't really stand much of a chance, did
And look at the kill spread we currently have now for SK Telecom. It was originally really stacked for Jax and Diana, but it's pretty much evened out across the board for them. That's exactly what you want to see when you're playing.
What they're going to go in for here next is a
3 GAs now.
Largest rod and a GA just picked up there for Diana.
And all of them have it up currently.
Huh?
So all of them have it up currently, so it's a 5 on 8.
5 on 8.
Yeah, and then you have the Zonias on top of that with Diana.
So. Yeah, this is not going to be good news for Mouz. I mean, they can turtle as much as they want here, but SK have got a perfect dive team coming straight out of it. So as soon as they land a Lee Sin Q or they go in for that flash, crescendo flash is actually not up at the moment. There is Lee Sin right at the front of him. Guardian Angel is up, Jax's is up, Diana just finished off hers. So Mouse Sports really treading a thin line with this one. Horo actually landing his Q onto Shen, which is probably not the target that he was looking for out of that one. Inhibitor respawns and SK Telecom saying, well, we're here now, we might as well go for it. Oh, Diana actually getting silenced up there. Reaper taking a good chunk of damage, but look at him, he doesn't actually really take any damage. If I'm just telling a lie from that one, the fight all going to kick off. There goes the crescendo down. Corki actually forced to get away. JWoww going to go very low. Can they finish him before Shen comes in? Yes, pretty much they can. And now Dedrin is very low. There's another kill coming down. Phylox is going to die. It's now 2 men underneath the turret, and they are falling. Moma going to get dove on as well. And Jax may just have his GA pop. No, of course he's not going to, because he's just got so much health. There are the Nexus turrets. The Nexus itself is going to go down. And SK Telecom, after a 40-minute game here, going to take down Mouse Sports for game number 1 in Group A of the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne.
And look at them. They look very happy right now. We saw some clapping and stuff, but Mouse Sports lineup, it just wasn't really set for this. If they had a Vayne or a Kog'Maw who can really put out the damage, one of those hyper AD carries,